Greetings, fellow TIs. Now, just coming to my spot where I like to get away from it all and just meditate and clear my mind and not think about organized harassment and stalking. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how to start your own nonprofit organization. Now, most states, to incorporate, the only thing you need to do is go to your state website, look for the articles of incorporation. Normally it's less than $100. Most states is $50 to $85. You need 3 people. And these 3 people will be considered directors. So you might want to name yourself the president. Then you have your second in command, the vice president. And then you have one person, which is going to be your secretary. Now, you're going to need a tax ID number. You can get this for free by calling the IRS, and they'll provide you with a tax ID number. Now, many nonprofits have a hard time in the beginning of the process trying to get their exemption. Many nonprofits first start out with a fiscal sponsorship if they're having to wait a long time to get their tax exemption. So if you're having a hard time getting your tax exemption, look at getting a fiscal sponsorship. Once you fill out this 1 or 2 page form to do your articles of incorporation, where you put down the people in the group, your mission statement, whatever. You get your tax ID number. You can go the fiscal exemption route, where you do not have to wait for a nonprofit exemption. What you can do is go online and look for other organizations that have maybe similar beliefs, and sometimes they may take 8% of the grant money you make to manage your organization. And that's actually a pretty sweet deal if you think about it. They take care of your taxes. If you don't have an accountant, that's a great way to go. And you're operating under their nonprofit exemption. Isn't that sweet? So, I have some notes here, hold on one second, that I've made. So, one thing you guys have to do is when you have a nonprofit is record your minutes. Every state has different laws on recording, I believe, but you want to use Skype and have meetings a few times a year and document this. You want to follow the IRS. This is a procedure on how many meetings you have or whatever. I forgot, it's been a while. So, okay. Now, if you want to solicitate, some states require you to get a permit or to get permission. Some states you have to contact your Department of Agriculture. They might want 10, 20, 30 bucks per year. Contact your fiscal sponsor if you're not using your tax exemption, or if you don't want to wait for that and just go the fiscal sponsorship route. So that way you can understand clearly what you have to do to solicitate. Also, whitelisting. If you want to do a lot of email marketing, you can use SendBlaster. It's a bulk emailer, so a lot of it will go to spam. But if you get your IP whitelisted by Google, Bing, and other search engines, it'll go right to the inbox. Now you want to follow, I think it's called the CAN spam law, something like that, or CAN spam law, something like that. I have to look it up. So you want to follow the U.S. codes for emailing people. You want to have an address at the very bottom of the email, or where they can opt out to. You want to follow all the procedures. There are also many sites where, let's say, you really don't have a large database full of supporters. You can try banner ads, directed ads. You can do mass emailing campaigns where you can look for these different services. I think there was one that was called Shack, Email Shack. I forgot the name of it. You will have to search for it. I think it was like List Shack or Email Shack. Might have been like List Shack. But they had a service where you pay $50 and you can access their database. So you can look for people that have opted into other websites, maybe searching for information on nonprofits, donating money, whatever. And you can use that list. But you also want to scrub that list, make sure that everything is compliant, that these people have not opted out or subscribed to some organization, so that way they don't receive spam. Now, with grant writing, you can use what's called the Foundation Center. The Foundation Center, I heard it can be quite expensive if you're using their premium services, but many colleges and universities and nonprofits actually have access to their database, and they allow people to go in their centers in some places all across America. There are many nonprofits. You're going to have to do your own research, and they'll let you access their database for as long as you want. You can go there, spend 2 or 3 hours, whatever. They may have multiple computers, and search for grants. That way you don't have to spend money every month to subscribe to their database. So let me see what else I have here. Now, I mentioned the whitelisting. It's very, very important for those that are wanting to do this. So also know that if you have a nonprofit, you can start your own retirement fund. I know this one guy, he had a nonprofit. It didn't work out too good. He put a certain percentage towards his retirement, and now he's retired. He did it for like 9 years and he retired. So let me see what else I have. Now, there's some people that they can't afford land. Well, I was watching a video a while back. It's called Living for Free on BLM Land. I can't say that I would like to live in an RV. I had a relative that actually offered me a really nice RV. Wasn't that old. Had air conditioning, shower, a bedroom. It had an area where you can sleep 8 other people on bunk beds, TV. I mean, it was a plush looking place. Really nice. You needed to have I think it was a Class A or B to drive it, because it was, you can't just drive it with the regular driver's license. It was just too long. So I didn't want it. I told my just go ahead and sell it. So hold on, it's real windy, so I'm having a hard time. So with the BLM, you can go to let me see, blm.gov. Yeah, go to blm.gov, and in your Google search bar, and just type staking a claim next to blm.gov. Or you can go to blm.gov and just look on the search bar on their page and type staking a claim. So I've heard of people getting land, I think it's like 20, 30 bucks, whatever, and the rules are they have to do something to make it look better. You can just plant 8 flowers if you want to. In my case, I have literally enough seeds to plant probably 30, 40 acres of vegetables and fruits and different stuff if I wanted to. It's not how I want to live, though. But you could plant your stakers on the property. I think you're supposed to do that. And you could go there every blue moon while you're traveling to different states. Let's say you're one of those victims of electronic harassment, or let's say you want to have a mobile nonprofit where you register with some organization that's online, and you pay like $100 a year, and you have a not a fake address, but where they forward your mail, or they just send you, they can scan your mail and email it to you. That way you have a permanent address if you're constantly traveling. So now with grant writing, that's going to be one of the most important things you can do when you're an organization is starting up, and even afterwards, because you want to have support. Now, most TIs are broke. There are a lot of TIs that are offended that other TIs aren't helping them, but TIs, don't be mad if you're asking for help and no one's helping you, because you have to understand that many TIs are homeless, they're ex-government whistleblowers, There are people that are on the fringes of society because they're being electronically harassed. Many are on disability, they're living off their pension, living with their families, disability, and so on, or working little menial labor jobs to survive. So it's going to take TIs that are going to reach out to corporations, human rights lawyers. There's a huge boom of human rights lawyers entering into this market, and they're desperate for money. They're desperate to be known. And what better way of helping our country and TIs if we connect with these human rights lawyers around the world and let them know, look, this is the information that we have. Can you help us? So a lot of these human rights lawyers will operate on a contingency fee, or pretty much where they get paid only if they win a case. So these notes I made, I did this like in a couple minutes. This is stuff that I had forgotten. I had to go through my old notes from when I used to have an organization that I worked for. So one thing you guys also may want to look at is creating intentional communities, also known as communes. There's a lot of sites where people have their commune or organization, and maybe they have a 5-acre plot, there's 20 houses or an apartment building, and people are into working together to live in peace and harmony in the community, stuff like that. Networking with other governments, setting up a Bitcoin account so you can receive money from other governments, even traveling if necessary to communicate with international organizations and scientists and people that have experience with understanding electronic harassment. So to break it down again, if you want to start a nonprofit, you can incorporate. I heard some people go through trusts. There's other routes. You can be unincorporated, but I think the best bet is to be incorporated. Then call the IRS. Let me go back. When you incorporate, you seek the form online for your state, articles of incorporation. Then you contact the IRS, get a tax ID number. Let's say you don't want to wait for nonprofit exemption. You seek a fiscal sponsorship. Go online, look for organizations that do fiscal sponsorships. There's probably thousands of them. There's thousands of them online, I'm sure. They take maybe 8% of your money or whatever, and they handle your accounting and all that stuff. So it actually helps you out. You don't have to wait to write grants or solicitate. Because if you're writing grants, these organizations want to donate to organizations that have a tax exemption. So if you don't have it, it's going to be really, really hard to convince a major corporation to give you money when they're not going to benefit. And soliciting. You want to make sure that you are doing everything in a legal and ethical manner. You don't want to violate any type of laws and have any organizations after you for violating any rights. So if you're going to solicitate, you want to do everything by the book. I'm having this drink called mangosteen. I believe it's a very popular fruit in Asia. Some people say that it has healing properties. I don't know, but it tastes okay. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to place a link underneath this video. Actually, I'll probably place 2 or 3 links. I'll place one link which will help you guys that are starting a nonprofit, and it'll have a list of different things that you may want to put in different files. And on your files, you might want to put down on a file, like, it can be your accounting information about your directors, whatever. And it'll help you to do grant writing without having to spend hundreds of hours reading, attending seminars. Now, of course, you still may want to look at the Foundation Center's grant writing handbook. It's pretty short. There's another book